Good dog, and welcome back to the Norwegian campaign and Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. So we had a couple of months with no battles, and now it's December 1948, and we do have a couple of battles going on. So let's see if we can sink this German battlecruiser. So it's a stormy day, and the ships split up to form a search pattern and try to find the German battlecruiser. And I think Olav Haraldsson is the closest one to the enemy. So it's gonna be a single ship duel. It shouldn't be too difficult. He's a pretty well armored battleship with 12 hefty 17.5-inch guns. Should be able to deal with a battlecruiser. And we've spotted it far out. 50 kilometers in this weather? I did not expect that. I thought we were gonna run almost into it. Well then. There we go. We are in range now. Mostly thanks to my guns having very long range. Being Mark 5 17-inch guns. But accuracy at this range and this weather, not amazing. Still good enough that the ship wants to fire if I set the guns to save. I'm gonna turn more broadside, bring X and Y turrets into the action. There we go. Pretty hefty hit there. 4-belt penetration. Advantages of high penetration HE versus what is kind of an all or nothing type of armor scheme. Their main tower is out. They've taken quite a bit of flooding. My ship is now firing AP, which at this range is actually less effective. Let's go with, okay, we're actually only at 15 kilometers now, closer than I thought. Let's go with a couple more salvos of HE, try and get some more extended belt penetration. We got some there. What was it that we penned? 4-belt pen, 5,000. Nice. Back to auto. I've not taken a single point of damage from this battlecruiser. That might change now though, because they're still closing in 13.7 kilometers. And at this range, I should be able to get... well, I could get belt penetrations, but probably not through that third inner belt. No, I'd need to get almost point blank. Go through that. but we're still getting it sunk though. Something like this, maybe? Just picking an angle where you can't see half the ship sticking out over the waves. Because that always looks a little bit goofy. There we go, we did take some damage in return. 4 belt pen for 354 damage. And a secondary tower and aft belt penetration. There we go. Enemy ship goes down. Nice. A nice 90,000 victory points. Ooh. Important convoy raid. We've got the heavy cruiser Fenrir, or the Freya class. Yeah, that's one of the new ones. We got Tangresnir, a light cruiser, and one of the old Broggy class light cruisers. I think these two are gonna have to do most of the work here. The Germans have one of the Lutzow class heavy cruisers. Kind of scary. They're quite tough. These, not so much. And these are okay. Important top priority cargo. Oh, yeah. UAD and DD J3815. They are in reserve. I haven't seen that in a while. I forgot it was a thing. Yeah, that means they're gonna start far... Okay, they're not that far away. They're not that far away. Sometimes, when you got ships in a reserve, they start far, far, far behind. And basically don't get to contribute anything. But these are not that far behind. We're talking, what? 20 kilometers? That's not so much. J3815. You might be useful here. You would, maybe not so much. Maybe a little bit. But getting some torpedo hits on that, and you can see the speed limit from the previous battle had still not quite updated at the start of this one. The last one being in a storm, you've got your speed limited by quite a bit. It's not really the most impactful bug ever, but it's kind of funny that it still exists. The game struggles with updating. Tangresnir has spotted Admiral Shear. How far out are you? 55 kilometers. And the transports are around there. Okay. And the destroyers as well. Yeah, we're still quite far out. think opening with a torpedo volley towards the convoy might see some pretty good results here. 3815 has caught up, being quite the speedy little destroyer. Let's see, we've got 23-kilometer AP range on these 10-inch guns. We are almost getting in range. We can drop you down to cruising speed. Sail this way. And I want to have Tangrisnir launch torpedoes at the transports. From both sides. There we go. J-38. You're almost in torpedo range as well. Because I'm just hoping that some of these torpedoes aimed at transports will actually strike that heavy cruiser. The enemy destroyers have still not launched. Jord is quite a bit behind, but let's not forget about her, and let's not have Tangrisnir just sail off the edge of the earth. But of course, Fenrir has one important task to do here, and that is fire at the enemy heavy cruiser. The enemy transports have torpedoes. Okay. Let's not get caught off guard by that. Did we strike a dud torpedo? Yeah. We did get a torpedo hit on Admiral Scheer, but it was a dud. Of course it was. Jord is now getting into range. Almost, with her torpedoes. Tangrisnir is coming back. She can deal with the DDs, I think. And then Fenrir. Try and do something with Admiral Scheer. Secondaries on the destroyers if they get closer. What kind of torpedo range did these have? 15 kilometers. Only 19-inch. So, kind of light torpedoes, but there's still torpedoes on a transport. Sheer has decided that Yud is an easy target. I'll come after her. So let's try and get Fenrir back. J38 almost reloaded. Get her back here too. Enemy destroyer is down. Actually, let's just ignore the Ariadne for now. Let's launch more torpedoes towards transports. Tangrisnir has now spent all of her torpedoes, scoring flooding hits on Admiral Sheer. Which is good. Fenrir is putting her secondaries to use on these enemy transports, which are surrendering. Ariadne took a torpedo. Still no torpedo hits on Sheer. Which is the one I actually want to hit with torpedoes. It's quite a tough target to sink with guns, unless you got some really big ones. Yud is getting away, that's fine. Yeah, J3815 took some, she took some 9-inch hits from Sheer. Sheer is coming back. Taking hits though. Let's not run into enemy torpedoes. Let's instead do some torpedo stuff ourselves. You can just sink the Ariadne now. rudder is out, Sheer. It's gonna be difficult for you to dodge this. Although J3815 is taking some punishment. Don't tell me you're gonna dodge this. Oh, he took some torpedoes. And J3815 sinks. Ariadne sinks. Sheer is still hanging in there. Did dodge most of those torps. Should have launched just a little bit earlier before she started turning. Heston has launched torpedoes. Sheer sinks. Nice. Now it's just a matter of dealing with the transports. Yeah, there are the torpedoes. I was already in that turn. Think I can avoid these. Yes. Hessen has surrendered. Bismarck has surrendered. Moltke has surrendered. Nice. Shame about losing that one destroyer, but okay. That's pretty nice anyway. It was, after all, an important convoy. The Russians have a ship. It's a single destroyer, but it's still a ship. Is this the last stand of the Soviet Navy? Might be. Let's see how it fares against a J-33. Let's make this a 1v1. And J-3307 has spotted the enemy destroyer. It is now invisible, but it was visible for a while. And there it is. Let's take a look at what might be the last ship that the Russians put to sea. 4.3-inch guns. They look absolutely tiny on that huge hull. Okay, they got side guns as well. 2 quintuple 23-inch torpedo launchers. Fast torpedoes. 50-knot torpedoes. That is actually a lot of 4.3-inch guns. Looking at a 10-gun broadside. I mean, sure. Nice. Where was mine? Here it is. But actually, my oxygen torpedoes are almost as fast as their fast torpedoes. There's not much of a speed difference between oxygen and fast. I think oxygen torpedoes are a little bit OP in this mod. There doesn't seem to be much of a point in using fast torpedoes. You get 3 more knots for half the range and much higher visibility. Now, at 900 meters. I can start, excuse me, 5,000 meters. I can start penetrating their armor. They are already firing. Do they outrange me? I think they do. Okay, you're a pretty fat DD. You might not be that good at dodging torpedoes. 500-meter turning circle. Okay, mine is not that much better, but maybe I can get lucky. They've launched their torpedoes as well. So we're going to have to do a little bit of maneuvering. I don't want to run into their torpedoes, even though I'm going to see them at quite a distance. Or did they launch their torpedoes? I don't think they did. I think I launched mine and I got confused because the HUD didn't quite update. Never mind. So I just threw off my torpedo tracking for nothing. So far, I seem to be winning the shootout. Wow, the refit J33s are quite costly, aren't they? They got few bulkheads. Okay, the enemy has no more torpedo launchers because they blew up. And they surrendered. Nice. Alright. Yeah, seems like my J-33s can take out the latest and probably last destroyer the Soviets will build. Let's see. Okay, they got 2 months left. And then it's curtains for the Soviet Union. Because I think that is their last port here on South Sakhalin. Uh, 69% chance to successfully invade Prussia. Should be able to bump that up once the invasion of Helgoland is complete. That's 100% too. Let's take southern Russia as well. Single battleship should be enough. Yeah, should be. Emble, old Broggy 2 class light cruiser versus one of the Lübecks. Let's go. She might be old, but in this case I think she's not outmatched. Like, not at all. But that's mainly down to the refit Mark V 7-inch guns. There's the enemy cruiser, Emden. My guns are alive. Torpedoes free to launch at the enemy transport. Do they have torpedoes this time? They do. 21 inch. 12.6 kilometer torpedoes. Electric. Could be quite the nasty surprise if you don't notice the enemy transports have torpedoes and you just run into them. Are we gonna get a torpedo hit on the enemy cruiser? Yes, we are. Exactly what I was after. Trying to aim torpedoes at a ship that is doing circles like that, it's almost impossible. Because the lead is going to be calculated from the heading and speed it's doing when the torpedoes are launched. Which of course means the torpedoes will end up somewhere entirely different than where the ship will be, because the ship is just doing circles. Oh, you have launched. Wow, that was close. But if you aim your torpedoes at the transports, let's turn off the main guns. Let's have this surrender, just because. If you aim them at the transports, you know that the escorting ship is going to be in the vicinity. So you have a decent chance at actually hitting it that way. That's a little trick that you can use. Alright. Do I have... I don't have any ships just sitting around in the Americas, do I? No, I think everything is... either in port or busy invading something German. Even the army is doing stuff, which is nice to see. Let's see, Tórshavn. What is the port capacity here? 6,000 tons. We can take that with a couple of cruisers, I think. UAD is being repaired. Thrud, you are up. Actually, the battleships as well, why not? Why not? Is the army doing things here? Yeah, they are. So we're gonna take Western Turkey next month with the army. Army is also actually pushing into eastern Poland. Pretty nice. Yeah, I think we're good to move on to... Whoa, wait, no, we are not. We are over capacity by a lot. Okay, 150,000 tons. Not that much. But I think we need to just momentarily suspend some repairs here. We can give the the repair crew in Asia a little vacation. They've done a good job. They don't need to be on duty for this. Dovre. You're eating up a lot of repair space. There we go. No longer over capacity. Am I building a lot of stuff? Yeah, of course I am. I'm building lots of cruisers and destroyers. And battleships. Even had to suspend some of these. It's just momentarily. No thanks, France. Strike. The Germans have changed their flag again. We're taking Western Turkey. I've gained Heligoland. And Ukraine. Very nice. Link these back up. So when I then take southern Russia, I will have the Black Sea completely under my control. Same here with the Baltic Sea. Once I've taken Western Poland and Prussia. I'll send these in here as well. Germany, you've got some ships out. And we're taking back my islands. Lots of convoy battles. Interesting. Emble. Again. Against another Lübeck. Emble is beginning to be become the terror of the German transport fleet. I'm sure there's some amount of pride among her crew. For her now growing reputation. Single-handedly taking on the latest German light cruisers. Admittedly not very good light cruisers, but I'm sure the crew won't tell you that. I'm gonna be spinning tall tales of sinking the mighty Thetus. Let's see, this transport, does it have torpedoes? It does. What kind of torpedoes? Fast ones. So, again, worth looking out for. The enemy light cruiser is firing back. But we can now see it through the smoke screen. And once again, hope we get lucky with the torpedoes. It's turning back into the where the torpedoes will go. So maybe, there we go, a little bit of flooding. Nice to see. No torpedo hits on Thetus. Just plenty of gun hits. Two-inch guns. Now raking the decks of Markgraf. Probably gonna result in a surrender kill. I don't even have that many 2-inch guns. We've got 2 doubles per side. The enemy ship has launched torpedoes. %. Not gonna hit that torpedo, are we? No. Well, we did. It was a dud. That's quite some drifting there, Emble. Did actually sink. I was sure we were gonna get a surrender kill on that. Let's go with AP on the 7-inch guns. There we go. And Thetus is not firing back. She's too healed over. Yeah, she's firing back now. Not very effectively, but I think she's gonna sink. Her 5-inch guns are all taken out. And there we go. Nice. Good job, Emble. Alright. One convoy here. Fenrir and Tangrisnir versus Prince Oen. Another Lutzow. Alright. Alright. It's gonna be a little bit more tricky. Just because I do have quite a bit of respect for the German Lutzow class heavy cruisers. They started quite close though. Already in range. In like view range. Now hopefully I can get a little bit lucky with torpedoes from Tangrisnir here. I'm gonna wait for the transports to actually turn. So they are on their actual, like, the heading that they're gonna go in. Fenrir, you are not following Tangeresnir. Don't think about it. Tangeresnir, you're definitely not following Fenrir. That was not my intention. You are launching torpedoes at Fritjof. And from the other side as well. Are we gonna get any torpedo hits here? We might, because Prince Oen is heading straight for that torpedo swarm. Just no. The timing was off. Crew loss on Prince Eugen. It's coming in very aggressive here. Launch torpedoes, that means Fenrir needs to maneuver. Which is risky. You can see how much more damage we're taking now. That the belt is not just soaking up everything. Well, those torpedoes are not gonna hit anything. That's fine. Tangeresnir got a little bit too close. Please, Eugen, please turn your attention back to Fenrir. %30 crew loss on the enemy cruiser. Looks like Tangeresnir gets a couple of months off in dry dock. What was your third inner... No, you don't have a third inner belt. You got a second inner belt. Still enough, though. Tangeresnir is still with us. Down to only having one torpedo. Not sure if I'm gonna need it, but I'm just gonna save on it, just in case. lot of secondary fire going on now. Fenrir actually taking some damage in return. It's not too serious. And Prince Oen is going to sink. Point 4, point 2, sinking. How about these two? They do not have torpedoes, so we can just go to town. Surrendered. How about Fritjof? Also surrendered. Although I think they're the surrendered crew will not be able to keep those ships afloat for long. And we got one more convoy mission. Lots of convoy missions this time. Another Lutzow. And this time, Skirnir is alone. There's not going to be any hopeful torpedo launches this time. At least the enemy transports do not carry torpedoes, so that's nothing to worry about. I think best course of action will just be to try and defeat Princess Wilhelm at long range. Wilhelm is not a very princessy name. It's got to be said. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned. And it's closing in. Can I get some decent flooding? Maybe with AP. I was about to say angle isn't great for flooding, but apparently it's just fine. Underwater torpedo tubes have been knocked out. A little bit closer than I... okay, you've launched. You've launched. Knocked out an engine, caused some more flooding. He's got no more torpedo crew, so in theory that should mean no more torpedo launchers. But I've seen it happen before, so who knows? Back down to cruising. Yeah, we're actually scoring some pretty decent hits here now. Yeah. Nice. Just gonna keep this up. And things should be fine. Well, they've suffered quite a bit of crew loss in total. Skidnid has taken very little damage in return. And the enemy heavy cruiser sinks. And since the transports do not carry torpedoes, we're just gonna go in and slaughter. Let's turn those guns off, the main guns. They're just really not doing that well against the transports. Anyway, so why waste the ammo? Because transports have absolutely zero armor at plus 1% armor quality, so even HE, a fairly high penetration HE, is just gonna go straight through overpenning. But 5-inch HE, as you can see, a lot more effective. Not to mention what the 2-inch guns are going to do when they get close enough. If the 5s leave anything for them. And there we go. Two-inch guns are going in, but just barely. Gonna leave it at that. A little bit of cinematic, almost. And there we go. Last one surrendered. Excellent. And with that, there's not really that much more to do here. Go on, back to the world. Yeah. So I guess I will see you when it's time to refit the German prize ships, which I hopefully will get a couple of, if they don't just scrap everything again. I hope they don't do that. That would be a slap in the face. Yeah, I can actually unsuspend some of the ships being repaired. That would be nice. They have a battlecruiser somewhere? Here it is. Interesting. Are they at peace with France? They are. Why am I still allied with Britain? Oh, because we're at war with the Soviet Union. But the Soviet Union will end next month. So that will be that. Well, they're not going to end next month. They're going to last one more turn. And then I'm going to get the pop-up that they dissolved because they had no more ports. So that will be that. I probably won't get this though before they dissolve, and then this is going to be ungoverned territory. But luckily, I'm the only one in position to actually invade it once it becomes ungoverned. So anyway, goodbye and take care.